Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday! I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Tuesday, guys. I know some of you guys are waiting for a recording for your emails as well. Some of you guys are waiting for a reply. I'm going to try to get back to some of you guys this evening or tomorrow morning. But I want to make this this recording for a sis really quickly, who is struggling with people pleasing and she cannot understand where did this thing develop. She just hates it. She don't know how to say no. People take advantage of her, things like that. And she said God have been clear to her that she have to really learn boundaries and he can't take her any further. Sis, that's true. That's very true. There's a cap. There's a limit. God will not take you higher at some points in your life if he have not really conditioned you to not be a people pleaser. And there's so many reasons why that has to happen first. But let's talk about people pleasing and toxic empathy. Now, here's the thing, because I know some of you guys are empaths on my channel. I'm an empath without a doubt. It's such a beautiful gift because you're able to tap into people's emotions when no one else could. It's a very rare thing, but you can be, I don't care where you are, you can be in a crowd of 1 million people. Everybody around you is having a great time. Whatever they got going on, they're having a great time. Nobody have no care in the world. But if you're standing next, or if you're in the area of somebody who got something going on, this person can be going through a divorce and their heart is just broken, but no one else can see it because this person is smiling and cheering on with everybody else. You feel it in your spirit. You're carrying that heaviness. So now you can't even have a good time because the person is sad and now you're sad. You don't even know this man or this woman. You're sad because they're sad. That's toxic empathy. And I'm going to speak about how some childhood issues could have caused that. But on the healthy side of being an empath, it's so beautiful because you know how God wants to use you with certain people at certain times. You are able to feel what a person is going through, good or bad, right? But you then know what God needs you to do, how the person's feeling, so you're able to respond a certain kind of way, even when the person is saying there's nothing wrong, because people typically do that when something is wrong, but you know that there's something wrong, you feel it, and then God gives you a grace to show you how to deal with the situation and with the person, and you can actually help that person when no one else could. God mess around, give you some words to give that person, and there's something about the words that God, and you heal that person just through your words, through your spirit, through your energy, because you're graced to do it. So it's a very, very beautiful gift, but it's one that we have to stay on top of because we keep swerving in the toxic empathy lane. Now, here's how toxic empathy and people pleasing can develop from childhood, which is your case, you said. All right, this can be a number of things. Let's just say you were bullied in school and no one ever picked you to be on the team, or you just bullied. So basically, as a child, really, you shouldn't even have those kind of thoughts. You're just supposed to be free. Just free as a child. No thoughts in the world, no nothing. But because trauma happens through bullying, through parents who may have been narcs, siblings who were narcs, or just any kind of trauma, domestic violence in the household, a parent who struggled with an addiction, crack house, all that stuff. So as a child, you can't just be a child and be free. Instead, as a child, you are learning to balance out or try to balance out all of these different emotions. So what do? You submit to whatever energy, to whatever, because you just want calm. You just want peace. So you're trying to balance everybody's energy. So if you have a father who's a raging drunk and he comes home and he's breaking everything and he's throwing bottles everywhere and he's falling down, honey, he's pissed up, honey, he got all kind of foolishness going on. As a child, now you don't feel safe. You don't feel safe because it's scary. So now you're trying to conform to some type of narrative to please him. So as a child, you may go up and try to do whatever to make him happy or whatever. Just, I don't know, tell him something nice. Take him his favorite soda or something. And he's taking something, he's throwing it at you and he's throwing it at the wall. And you're just trying to do everything. So you're trying to conform to just make him stop so you can feel safe. Okay. You might have a parent who's a narcissist. Well, with narcissists, you can never do anything right. I mean, just never do anything right. So you're going to, as a child, again, not being free, you're just going to do everything in your power to try to please this parent, to make them see that you're enough. This is not even your own identity as a child. So you see how your own identity is already being shaped and molded around someone else's thought process of you and around your environment. And no matter what you do, especially if it's a narcissist, no matter what you do, you're never going to be celebrated. Even when you should be celebrated, you're not going to be celebrated. It's going to be the complete opposite. So this is why many people who have experienced narc abuse, they second guess themselves with everything. Because you just were never enough. Nothing you do was enough. You were told the complete opposite. So you just start living this life of trying to be everything to everybody, and you're still not accepted. And then, because you're not accepted, now you're dealing with abandonment issues, rejection issues. So you see how all this stuff can just ping all over the place? So whatever your environment was as a child, right? Or you could have had a mother who was constantly beat by your dad or by her boyfriend, and now you're carrying her emotions, and now she's crying. I mean, you might be 5 years old and your parent is in your room, in your bed, crying, and you as a child, you're trying to console, right, your mother. That's too much for a child to carry. So now the child is trying to beat the parent. So you're never ever safe in your own this is why what is it called, shadow work. I think it's something where you go back and I think shadow work is about where you go back and you kind of heal the child, the little child. Because everything you do as an adult, if you've never went through an extensive healing process, then many times you're still operating from your trauma wounds. And this is why people are having a hard time trying to find their because in order to be confident, you got to be your true authentic self. Well, your true authentic self was shifted. It never was formed from your authentic self. It was changed and shifted very early on. So you're really living a lie and don't even know it. So it's hard to be comfortable in a lie. So you have to go back to allowing God to work on the core. God will show you the things you were exposed to, or if you were someone who was molested. Then, okay, you got people who's probably telling you, be quiet. If you tell somebody, I'm going to kill the family. So now you all these different thoughts that a child is becoming. This is why some of you have a hard time expressing yourself, because very early on you were told if you were molested, don't say anything. And especially if you ever had those parents, when you told them, they didn't believe you. So why would you ever speak up? That was conformed. That's the identity that was given to you. So this is why a lot of people struggle with their true authentic self now, because they didn't have a chance to get to be their true authentic self. They had to conform to some type of narrative. So now as an adult, what happens? No matter where you are, you got to make everybody happy. You can't say no, because if you say no, somebody's going to get mad, right? And now you're thinking back on childhood when your crazy daddy, his old pissed up self, when he would get mad because you're trying to just bring him a soda, right? To calm his nerves, and he's acting the fool, right? So now when you want to tell somebody no, Kizzy, if you don't stop calling people pissed up, oh my goodness, honey, I just be talking, and then I have, oh my goodness gracious. So when you're trying to tell somebody no, you're having these flashbacks of not being good enough and what your crazy dad, what your dad said, and all this other stuff like that. So that feeling that you're feeling now at 30, and you're feeling like this is this uneasiness if you say no, that is not just about telling your homegirl, no, I'm not going out this weekend. You think all that internal stuff that you're feeling, and you don't feel settled, and you think that's really about telling your friend no? No. That's coming from your core. That's coming from your core. That's a seed. This is why, too, you ever known somebody, I have a staff like this, I've said this before, that, okay, you can be in a room with people, and they're very, very jumpy. They're very jumpy. They can't even sit down. They're like always all over the place trying to appease everyone. I took one of my staff out to dinner, several of them, but this particular one I'm speaking about, and I took them to dinner because they had done such a great job, right? So the whole thing was to just relax and chill and just enjoy the moment. You're not even at work. Just enjoy your moment. She could not relax. She was too busy trying to cater to me and trying to cut my steak. And girl, if you don't leave my plate alone, too busy trying to serve this one over here and serve that one and serve to the point that she wouldn't even touch her food. She was just too. That's also PTSD too, definitely in her situation, because she came from, one of the most horrible childhoods I've ever heard about, right? So that's PTSD as well. But also it's because you don't feel safe within your own inner being. That was taken from you. That was stripped from you. So when you have 30 people around you and everybody wants something different, or you feel they want something different, and half of the time the people don't even want, they just want you to chill, but you can't even chill because there's nothing settled in your spirit. There's still no safety in your spirit. So you're all over the place appeasing everyone else and treating everybody else like royalty because that's what you had to do in order to be accepted in childhood. This is why many people, many people have a hard time receiving help. And then you have the same individuals many times who've traumatized you, who criticize you because you can't receive help and you know how to receive help. How can traumatized people receive help? This is why I think it's unfair for people to keep judging people or one group, let it be some of these guys with these toxic platforms or whatever, like, dude, we all grew up in the same environments. What are you talking about? So you already know your sister is traumatized for this particular reason, right? Or for the women who are bashing men because they can't lead they didn't have fathers in the household who lead. How do you want a man to know how to lead and there was never even an example in the household? Hopefully, and of course that's not everybody. Let me put that disclaimer there. So that's what's so frustrating, that is like they created this narrative to and it's way bigger than what we think, but they created this narrative for us to start attacking each other. And truth of the matter is, we all were in survival mode. We all need to be healed. So why is there no understanding when we all came from the same environment? And again, that's not everybody. So anyway, how do you fix this? How do you fix being a people pleaser? How do you fix that you can't say no? How do you fix that you keep trying to save every dude or every woman you meet, right? You don't even know how to be in a healthy, whole relationship because you're so used to fixing people, because you had to fix your daddy. You had to fix, or attempt to fix your daddy, attempt to fix your mama, attempt to fix everybody just for you can feel safe. And you never felt safe. You still don't feel safe. This is why it's crucial for women, or for men, for everybody, to feel safe in relationships. You typically hear people say things like a woman need to feel safe, which is 100% true. If she doesn't feel safe, she will not submit. I don't care if you are the president of the United. If she does not feel safe, she is not going to submit. But you typically hear women say that, and ladies, get in where you fit in. Please don't email me nothing about no submission. Get in where you fit in, because my definition is not probably what you were even thinking about it, right? But men need to feel safe too. You keep hearing women say that, and we need that, but men also have to feel safe. Men have to really, really trust you, like seriously, like trust you. And again, all that stuff really goes back to survivor mode and so much trauma that we've been through. Who can men really trust? Think again, not everybody. Who can men really trust? Your daddy was half behind, right? Your mama probably done beat you upside your head because you look like your daddy. Your homeboy in the hood probably done set you up. Like, so all that stuff goes back to our core. Who can we trust? Who makes us feel safe? It surely ain't gonna be somebody who just as traumatized as you. That's why you're crazy when you're together. I don't feel safe. You don't feel safe. I think you're cheating. You think I'm cheating. This. Honey, a whole zoo. A whole zoo. So what's the answer? Nobody should be together until they've healed. Period. Each person again, this is not everybody, right? Some of you guys have the perfect life, right? You're perfect, honey. There's nothing wrong with you, honey. Nothing. Woo! Everybody needs a healing process. But again, the struggle is so many people have a difficult time sitting in a single season. That season can look like a year. That season can look like 10 years. Somebody just like, girl, I'm about to log off right now. It just depends. It depends on how much trauma you got. It depends on how much you submit to the process, right? All that stuff. It just depends. But God got to take you back to your core. All that stuff got to be uprooted and expelled. Now he got to rebuild you prior to who you were before the trauma. Period. There's just no way around it. Because when you end up in relationships, right? And now something happens there. Each relationship, if you're not healed, is just adding on to the trauma. Adding on to the trauma. Adding on. And so you're more traumatized than ever. And now he leaves you because you're crazy. Or she leaves because you're crazy. Now that's a whole nother level of trauma. See? That's why I don't trust nobody. Oh my. So you're adding to it. And you're adding to it. And you're adding to it. And you're adding to it. This is why when you're healed, you only attract safe people. You attract really what you are. If you're toxic, you're going to attract toxic people. Because if you're toxic, a healed person is just not going to have anything to do with you. Now, thank God for healed people, because healed people, they probably were once crazy or something themselves, or they may just have a certain type of grace to deal with you, so they don't give up on you as easy. Now, they're not going to let you like make their life crazy, but they don't really give up on you as easy. Because there's a grace that God has given them to deal with you and to be able to help you. But you got to be teachable. You can't be fighting up against somebody who really wants to help you. Start practicing now. Start saying no now. And it's not that you won't have that little queasy feeling of, well, if I do know I'm not going to have any friends. If I do, listen, it is what it is. It's really about how bad do you want it. You're never not going to feel it. Boundaries get better and easier with time. And when you really learn to really set boundaries and stick with them, you will always have boundaries, because boundaries give you peace. See, you don't even care about peace now because you're toxic. You're toxic. You don't want no peace. You don't even know what peace is. You don't even know how to sit in peace. like peace disturbs your peace. It's crazy, right? Start practicing. No. First and foremost, ask God. You literally have to ask him. You can't assume, you can't think. Ask God to help you enter an intention. Listen, don't do it if you ain't ready, because I'm going to tell you now, you can't take it back. Once you ask God, honey, I promise you, I asked God for patience 15 years ago, and I'm still tested every day with patience. I'm 80% there, maybe 85%. I'm getting better every day, but don't ask for something if you're truly not ready, because you're going to be tested every single day, and you can't turn back the hands of time. But you will not arrive to due season. You will not get everything that God has for you, if you do not allow God to heal you and prepare you for the blessings he has for you. He can't release certain things to you. You don't even know how to handle it. You're going to mess it up. It's going to drive you crazy, actually. If you're a people pleaser, how in the world God going to open certain doors for you? You'll be a crackhead by next week, because you're conforming to the room. You're conforming. Like, you don't even know how to say no. People offering you crack, and you're just like, okay, give me a hit. I'll do it. God got to heal you first. Are you trying to ask God, I'm just tired of these trifling man. Can you send me a good man? Sis, that good man is not going to tolerate that foolishness that your toxic man did. I'm telling you now. So God released a good man to you. What are you going to do? You're going to drive him crazy. He sure ain't going to stay. And now you're more traumatized. See, there's no good man in the world. No, you're crazy, because you didn't heal. So ask God for an intentional healing season. And child, go ahead and get your edge growth oil, because you're going to need it. Get your edge growth oil, or whatever my guys use for y'all receding hairline. Go ahead and get it. Stock up on it, because you're going to need it. God will take you back to the core. God will bring back to your memories things that you thought you suppressed or masked, or you never want to think about. Certain things you may have seen, experienced. God's going to bring that stuff back to your memory, because he needs you to deal with it. He will not allow you to mask it any longer. You're going to have to sit in that pain. You're going to have to feel it. He's going to teach you to process it. He's going to teach you forgiveness. He's going to show you certain things on why it will be easier to forgive, because this person was traumatized too, this person was molested too, this person was in it too, and then you get it, or this person bullied you in high school because they were being bullied by their own sibling. And like he will literally show you and teach you certain things. And or your father wasn't a good father because his dad used to beat him every day, and he hated his own dad, and his own dad hated him. So he loved you, but he didn't know how to love you, because nobody loved. So it will help you to understand that the things that you're taking so personal, and not that you shouldn't take it personal, but it's really not what you think. Or your mama told you your daddy never wanted anything to do with you, and come to find out she was keeping you from him because she got mad because he had another woman. And the whole time you grew up thinking your daddy wanted nothing to do with you, and the whole time your mama was just being petty. God will show you all that stuff. I don't even know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm so taken over today, honey. God will show you all that stuff, which in turn is going to help you to forgive more. Because healing is forgiveness. Just going to keep it real. And let me tell you something. I got a lot of strengths, but I'm very transparent that patience and forgiveness is not my strong points. But God will definitely start to really help you. There's a grace that goes in healing season. When God sees you, God just wants to see you trying. When God sees you trying, there's a grace that he will literally help you to get over some of that stuff that you're 84 years old, and you're still heartbroken because your mom used to cook brownies with your sister on Wednesdays, and when you wanted her to play, I don't know, something with you, she wouldn't do it, and you're still holding on to that rejection. Oh, she liked my sister more because my sister was more pretty. She liked my brother more because my brother was more smart. He was a team, such and such, and all this. You're holding on to all that stuff, and that stuff is affecting your life. And God is trying to replace it and give you double for your trouble for all the things you've been through, but he can't release it because you're going to mess it up. It's never too late to heal. Do you know how many people, sadly, have left Earth? They might have lived to be 100 years old, but they left unhealed. They never really got to see God's best for them because some people just don't know how, right? Or some people are just very set in their ways. and they feel like, no, I'm just going to hate everybody until well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, we are just different, but God can't give you certain things until you learn to allow him to come in and do the work. And it's a whole process. I think people start these processes, in 6 months in, they feel like, I'm dipping because I ain't got time. Honey, you might be up in the process for years. How much trauma do you have? Were you traumatized all of your life, or just childhood? Or were you never traumatized in childhood, but you were just traumatized in a bad marriage for 3 years? Then you came from a great foundation and you had some trauma from a 3-year, like, your process is not going to be as long as somebody who been abandoned as a baby, lied to about who their parents were, end up in foster homes, from foster homes every year. Every foster home, they got molested. When they went to tell people they got molested in the nursing home, they got kicked out and sent to another foster home, just to get molested again. Finally found a family that they think is the perfect family, who's going to adopt them, just to turn them back in because they may have had some behavior issues because of all the trauma. Now you finally get out, because they throw you out at what? I don't even know, 17, 18, maybe, I don't even know. They throw you out. No money, no nothing. Just you and your traumatized self. And you find maybe the first man on the corner who just, you're looking for safety. And he just as crazy and not crazy, I'm sorry. He's just as traumatized as you are. Now he's beating you every day. You're used to it because it's all you ever saw. And the saga continues. He's raised up in a crack house. All he knows is sell crack. His daddy wasn't there. His mama was crazy. Like, what? How can we blame each other? How can we really blame each other? When you hear the tap of God, when God taps you, and again, I think so many people run from their calling because they think that God is calling them to be a pastor or a preacher. That's not everybody's calling. God is tapping you because God just want to, excuse me, God is trying to give you a destiny that you deserve. But in order to, he got to process you first, right? Got to process you first, and then you arrive to destiny season. I was talking to somebody the other day. He said he's still running from his call, honey. He is still running from his call because he knows he's supposed to be like a church person. Not church person, but I guess like a deacon or a pastor or something like that. Excuse me. So you got people who run from their call because they don't, But that may not be your call. Your call may be to mentor, like Coach Prime, who I admire immensely. Coach Prime to mentor, a group of boys. Like, don't run from your call. If God is tapping you, you will know if it's church, or sometimes you may not even know till you really get up in that thing, right? But it is what it is. It's beautiful. There's nothing that will beat the call on your life from God. It's trying to give you purpose and calling. Purpose and calling is going to fulfill you. Purpose and calling, the stuff that you've been through, whatever your life story is, you will find that God will probably use you in some kind of way related to purpose, calling, things like that. That's going to fulfill you. So that hole that's in you, and you thinking that a man or a woman is supposed to fulfill you, that's what purpose will do. That's what having a relationship with God will do. That's really what you're longing for. You're not longing for a man or for a woman. This is why when you get one, you're still lonely half of the time. It's an internal hole that you're seeking for it to be filled, and it can only be filled with purpose and calling through a relationship with God. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.